The single most important piece of advice that I can give you that will improve your flamenco dancing is the advice to practice on your own outside of whatever dance classes you are taking. I mean, if there's one thing that you will get from me, only one thing, that is the one thing that I hope you will get out of all these videos that I'm making, and that is you have to practice on your own in addition to whatever dance classes you are taking. The same way that a university student would also study and not just go to classes, assuming the student wants to get high grades and excel, it's the same way with flamenco dancing. You have to practice or you have to study, and that will help you progress faster. Now, the worst thing you can do when you're practicing on your own is to practice something the wrong way. Let me tell you a little story. I was studying a particular choreography in a dance class with a teacher, and when I went to the dance studio to practice it, I remembered the footwork a little bit wrong, not exactly what we did in the class. I substituted some of the steps with something a little bit different, and that's what I practiced for several days. And then when I went back to the dance class, not only did I not progress, in fact, I hurt myself because now my body wanted to do the other pattern, the wrong pattern, which I practiced on my own, and I had to exert energy and exert effort into forgetting that wrong pattern, and in addition to the work and effort in trying to pick up the material that was covered in the classroom. So in order to avoid that, there is something you can do to make sure that you don't make that same mistake. Very costly mistake, by the way. And that is sound recording in the class. Now, many dance teachers, not all, but many dance teachers will not allow you to videotape in the classroom, but will allow sound recording in the classroom for practice purposes. Make sure you talk to your dance teacher and ask what her or his policy are with this regard. But most dance teachers will allow you to at least record the sound. Now, I use my humble cell phone. It has sound recording capabilities, which is good enough for what I needed to do. Before I had this cell phone, I also used my laptop. I would lug my whole laptop to the dance class and set it up and use the sound capabilities inside my laptop. Whatever method you have, it doesn't matter. The quality of the sound is not important as long as you can distinguish the pattern or the rhythm inside the music in the sound recording. So the quality of the sound recording doesn't have to be high as long as you can hear the rhythm inside the dancing in the class, so that you can practice it afterwards. Now, if you want a fancy sound recorder, below this video I'll put a link to a very good voice and sound recorder that my friend recommends. He swears that it's like the best one. It has all these really fancy features. It's also appropriately expensive. So that's something you might want to look at. I don't use that, even though I feel very tempted. I use the humble voice recording capabilities of my little cell phone right here. So once you figure out how you're going to record sound, what I do in the dance class, I usually record the last 20 minutes of the dance class, because that's usually when the teacher consolidates all the material that was covered. And then I download that to my computer and listen to the sound I listen to it over and over again to make sure I have the right pattern. And if there's a certain section that's really tricky, a piece of footwork, for example, that's really tricky, I slow it down. I make it very, very slow. For example, in Windows Media Player, there's a way to play any soundtrack at different speeds. You can actually slow it down. So that's useful. Also, there are sound editing software. Some of them are for free, which you can download on your computer and take any piece of sound and slow it down. If something is really challenging, I make it so slow, it is like snail pace slow. It's nauseatingly slow as I need it to be. And then I take that sound with me to my dance studio and I practice it as slow as I need it to be, and making sure I'm following the right pattern, the right rhythm that was taught to me in the class. Now, of course, if you're using Gypsy Room or Tutor, you don't need to bother with any of this sound recording stuff because everything's already recorded and laid out and provided for you. So you don't need to do all this work. All this material is already prepared. However, in a real dance class, you need to make that extra effort. So I take my sound recording, practice it super slow, and then I practice it a little bit faster, a little bit faster, a little bit faster until I can do it at the speed that's required in my dance class. And having the voice recording or the sound recording for my dance class makes sure that I do not practice the wrong thing. I am practicing exactly the right rhythm and the right patterns that were taught in the dance class. Once I have that, once I feel really comfortable, yep, I got it, not exchanging anything, I'm not just choosing to forget a certain part, I got the whole thing, I feel totally comfortable, I then practice it without the sound recording from my dance class. I feel comfortable practicing it on my own. I'll practice it faster and faster and faster until I feel I'm totally comfortable. I can do this in my sleep. And that way I can progress faster in my dance classes as I go along, not struggle with the different bits that are being taught. So I hope this video was helpful to you, and I would love to hear how you make out with it and what kind of tricks you use to help you practice on your own.